Alright, welcome back. Here you can see we've got a GE triple whip mixer that we're going to be restoring. This is going back to white, the original white color on here. So it's basically being restored back to new. It looks in decent shape overall, except for the cord. The cord's got a big blob of tape on it up here. I'm not sure how bad it is, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug this in and see what happens. Well, the lights are still on, so we didn't blow a breaker. So there's really not much speed control on this. That's number one. That's lowest speed right there. Doesn't seem to be much slower than high speed. So there's an issue with the speed control already on it. Let's get these meters out of here. All right. So we know we already have an issue with this one here. There's really no way of knowing what's wrong with it until we get it apart. So I think while it's on the stand, I'm going to pull this bottom plate off here. This one, I don't recall if the bulb came on or not, so we may have to replace the bulb in there. Let me check that really quick. Let's see if the bulb even did come on. Nope. Alright, so we're going to have to replace the bulb in there as well. Which is no big deal. We can order a bulb for that. These screws are filled with residue. Right. I'm able to get them out now. And I'll see if I can't get this plate off the bottom here. It's starting to go. It's stuck on there pretty good. There. Alright. It's just a metal plate that's got the model number and the watts, 150 watt mixer. So I'll set those aside. And we're going to have to pop this handle off here. Take the handle screws and get them set aside. Alright, and that's all there is to taking the handle off. Like I said, the handle is seems to be in really good shape on here. A little bit of chipping right on the edge here. Right at the very bottom there, but overall, I mean, it's in really good shape. Alright, so it's been a while since I've taken one of these apart. I want to get this cord out of the way. I know that we can take the top off, and then these screws right here. This is just like a steel band that's wrapped around here. And I think it's easier if you take the top off first on here. I'm trying to go off of memory. It's been a while since we've done one of these. But let's find out. Okay, and I could be very wrong, so I'll go take our screws out of this metal band here. go. There we go. Okay, now we'll pop our band off. This band basically, there's a metal. Alright, so this has a little stainless steel ring that's attached to the bottom. It comes off, you see the ends are just crimped over. Alright, so before we do anything, this little, with this piece, this little the badge that's on here is riveted on. So you see on the inside here, we just got to basically grind the heads off these rivets here and drive those out. And then we get that powder coated up. Alright, so now we've got our main assembly here. Take a look at this now and see where we're at. Because I really just don't remember, off the top of my head exactly how these came apart. Okay, I do see there's a clip on here. It just looks like a bent wire clip. I thought these were a little different. This one looks like it may have been replaced before. I thought it was like, little cotter key that was in here. It just goes across the back and it holds a spring and brush in there. So if we straighten it out, we should be able to pull it right out. Which is proven to be easier said than done. There we go. Alright, and that relieves all the tension on the spring, which doesn't seem to have much at all. Well, you can see why. I mean, the brushes are pretty worn down on here. So we'll have to get some replacement brushes here and replace the brushes on that. Alright, let's take the other brush out. Looking at the armature looks like it's got some wear on it as well. Yeah, I think this has been gotten into before because this does not look like factory pieces on here. I can't imagine that they would have just used wire, a piece of metal wire on here like this. I thought these had like almost like a cotter pin type deal in them. There we go. Alright, well that brush didn't come out, but I'm assuming it's in the same shape as the other one, if not worse, because we'll have to replace the springs on here as well, because you can see there's a long spring. This spring right there looks like it's broken. So that was obviously a little bit of a mess right there. Alright, so we do have the nut and the screw off of here, but it doesn't seem like this is ready to come apart yet. Let's see if we can get this whole assembly lifted up a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Our armature just dropped out. Alright, so we're going to have to just disconnect our wiring from here and figure out what went where. Alright, so we'll disconnect that. And we'll disconnect this one. This side we've got two more connections here. And we'll have to keep track of what was connected where. So when we put this back together, we'll have everything wired up correctly. It's not that complicated to do. It's just a matter of noting the position of each wire. Got them all separated out. Yeah, this will lift up a lot better now. Okay, so this is a little more complicated than what you're used to seeing in here. These are all your leads that come down from up top, but we got to figure out which ones are actually the cord, and it's this white one right here and this black one over here. So if we were to put this back on here the way we took it off, you can see this field coil lead right here connected to the cord, and this field lead right here connected to the cord. This one connected to the switch wire, and then the other switch wire connected to the wire that goes down to the light, and this lead on the field coil. So just try to make a mental note if you're taking one of these apart, you know, which wires are the cord leads, which are these two here, you know, and they'll go to these two field coil connections right here, and then your switch leads. And one of the switch leads obviously will always go to the light. Now that we got that out, we should be able to finish disassembly on this here. Alright, so now we should be able to just take our field coil out of here by removing our studs to hold our field coil in. Oh, we'll have one more connection to disconnect here too. Alright, there's one stud. And then this one over here looks like it's got a spacer under it. The one going to the rear. Definitely want to make a mental note of, like I said, the way things come apart, especially, you know, the more complicated ones like these. Alright, let's take that one out with the spacer. Now we should be able to pull our field coil out. There we go. You see we got to clean that off some. We'll check the wiring on here, go over it all. Alright, so now we're going to pull our armature out. Take a good look at the gear on there. The gear looks good. Like I said, the armature itself does have some wear. And I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there's definite wear on there, so that's going to have to get turned down nice and flat. Alright, so let's continue with our disassembly here. A longer light we can pull to the outside for now. And 4 screws down in here that you're going to have to remove. Pretty long screws and my magnet's weak. Alright, so we've got those 4 screws out. And still, there we go. This finagle that away. We'll have to get that all cleaned up. That's the shroud for the fan. It's got a ton of flour on it. Alright, so now I'm going to flip this over. And pop out the metal clip that holds the light lens in. And if I flip it back over, that should fall right out for me. Okay, so the light lens is out, light bulb is out, and the light bulb, believe it or not, looks good, but it just fell right out, so I don't think it was engaged in the socket, and it's probably because it's hard to engage those in there. I mean, it's extremely difficult to get those light bulbs in. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull this off here, and I wanted to show you guys how this came apart, so I just kind of screwed that up, but all the oil wicks are falling out underneath. I'm going to put this back on here and try and show you. We just got to mind our gears because we've got a bunch of gears in here. Alright, so this is the gear that turns, the armature comes through and it turns this gear, and it's got another smaller gear on it. Actually, this whole thing will pull right out. Alright, I gotta mind all these little pieces. If I turn this back up the right way, I'm not sure how well you guys can see in here. You see there's really not a lot of grease in this thing either. It should have more grease than this, but the grease is pretty much shot. I mean, it's hard. It's really bad. There's really nothing grease-like about it at all. It's just chunky crap right now. But anyways, you've got a fiber gear in the middle, and then you've got, you know, 2 bronze gears, whatever. I'm assuming bronze. These are gears, when you put these back in, you also want to make sure everything is timed for your beaters with these. So we'll go over that when we put it back together. But those got to get cleaned up, degreased too. But there's really not a whole lot of grease on them to degrease anymore. This is pretty sparse on grease in here. And what is in here isn't even grease anymore. Just dig out what you can. We'll get the rest out later. Alright, so now you've got your little lever here that rotates it. There's a spring on here that keeps tension on it. You just want to remove that spring. And you can see there's no tension on it now, so now it's freewheeling. There's one more wick in here. This is held in with a pin, so there's another pin that's just going to be driven out of there. So we'll get that later after we get this cleaned up and degreased. We'll get that pin out. Alright, so now we've got the base. Here you've got a couple different things going on. Obviously you got a turntable that's got to come out. But on the neck here you can see there's a there's a part where you lift up and it's got spring-loaded detent on it. So we gotta be careful when we take this out. We've got to be careful of that spring that's in there. Let me find my socket. There it is. Alright, and we're gonna go and drive this out. Okay, so we've got our pin just about all the way out. So now we go through and pull it the rest of the way while keeping a hand on this here. Alright, so now we can get this part out, and this part is getting powder coated on, obviously on the bottom part there, and you can see right there where the detent rides is actually worn quite a groove into there. And that right there is your detent. Alright, so that right there will have to get cleaned up. There's a bunch of crap down in there. The sandblaster will take care of most of that. But the only thing we have left on the base now is to just separate everything. Let me find my... Okay, now to get the bearing out for the turntable, pretty much want to just grab a wrench. All 16ths wrench works well. Alright, and then you can just pull the entire thing out, which is not really a bearing, it's more like just a hollow shaft. Alright, now we can take our 3 screws that hold the neck on out of here. Pull those out with the washers, and now you should be able to separate. There you go, separate it into 2 halves. Alright, so other than the feet on here, which got to come out, this is stripped down, this is stripped down, that's stripped down. On this here, this is almost stripped down. We've got a light bulb socket to take out of there. I'm just making sure that there's no washers or anything on here. Alright, the light bulb socket's held in with 1 screw. And once you take out the screw, you can take out the entire light bulb socket. Alright, so this needs cleaning, a little degreasing, and we're going to have to tape off like the bottom area there and get this sandblasted so that's almost ready to be powder coated. This part here, degrease it, and we'll just drive that pin out right there for this lever, and we can take that lever out. Alright, so on here we've got our speed control and our cord we still have to get out of here. Let me see if I can get you guys a good view of this here. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Okay, so when you get in here to your switch, this part that rotates here, just keep in mind this is held on with a clip right here, and this clip is just, pressure fit. It's got tangs on it that lock it in there. That's going to have to come off, and that is not you know, the most easiest thing to remove. Alright, once you got something underneath there, you just want to just go around and basically just real gently work it up, because you remember you're fighting, you know, the pressure of that clip against there. So you don't want to force it. You want to basically just kind of gently coerce it out, because if you force it and snap that clip, I mean, it's just spring steel, so it's pretty brittle. So if you force it and break it, you're gonna have a hard time finding something to replace that with. So just gently work that sucker up and off of there. We may be tempted at some point to just pry it. If you work it gently, it will pop off. Alright, so should be able to, there we go, can lift your whole assembly, brush holder assembly out. And you know what I never did find was the other brush, strangely enough. I don't think it fell out anywhere. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, so this is the other brush. As you see, there's nothing left to it at all. I mean, it's just gone. And that was the one that wasn't on the broken spring. Alright, so now there's 4 screws in here, and now there's 2 for each side here of the switch assembly inside. So you want to remove these screws. And honestly, I don't think it matters when you put this back together which one of these goes where. Because if you notice, if you put this there, it's identical, even a wire length and everything. But you know, you may want to just try and remember where they came out of, which side they did come out of. Alright, let's pull these last 2 screws. And like I said, this is a far more complicated design, you know, than a lot of the other mixers. I mean, it's pretty much a pain in the butt to work on. Alright, so we got the other one out. Now you see our cord connection here, and you can see the way it was basically pinched down in here with the switch pieces. You know, that's basically what held these wires where they had to go. But there's also a metal restraint on here, one of those metal wire clip restraints. So we're going to take that off and put that on the new cord, just so you know it can't pull out and put too much pressure on those wires. Alright, and there's a bearing here that's pressed in, but it's a blind hole, so there's no way that we can get that bearing out. So we'll just have to make sure that we, you know, tape this up before we sandblast. I mean, we're not going to sandblast the inside of this area anyways. Basically, just this part right here is getting sandblasted, but we still want to protect that anyways. We don't want to get a bunch of our blasting media down in there. So, anyways, that part's done. So I think we're pretty much disassembled now. We've got 1 pin to drive out, and then a bunch of parts here to clean off, and then we get this. You know, all these parts here, we get these all powder coated and ready to go. So after we get everything all cleaned up, and I think I'm going to show you guys the reassembly on this one as well. So after we get everything all cleaned up and everything powder coated, we're going to go through and get it reassembled. So I'll be back then. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so we got this little beauty all wrapped up here and ready to go. Just needs one more final wipe down. But as you see, it looks quite a bit different than it did when when we started it. One thing I didn't notice taking it apart, which I should have, but I noticed putting it back together, is this band down here, the silver band that goes around. There's supposed to be one at the top as well, and it was missing on this one. You know, but I mean, overall though, it doesn't look bad. It's you know, it's a neat little mixer. It's got the 3 beaters on it, and you know, you can lock it up in an upright position like that, or you can actually spin it around so your beaters face up. Of course, you want to use the beaters face up. This is where the juicement attachment would come in. You put your juicer attachment on here when you have it upright like this. So that's what that thing spins upright for. But since we got beaters on it, let's point it back down and go ahead and run this thing through the speeds here and see how she sounds now. As you see, the light's working. And, you know, it sounds good, runs nice and smooth, just the way it should. So we're going to get this one wiped down and packed up for the customer. This is one that's going to be getting picked up in the spring. You know, they'll be happy to get this one back looking and running as good. So if you guys have any questions, comments, link down below. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let us know that you liked it. That's about the only way that we know if somebody's seen it and liked the video. And don't forget to subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified when we post any other videos. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thank every one of you, and we will see you on the next one.